Hey, welcome back to the Ready State. In the gym with my oldest daughter, Georgia, one of the things we're going to talk about is sometimes we think about strength conditioning only as getting stronger or getting better conditioned, but we also want to look at this as a way of course, as a diagnostic tool, but also as a way of teaching coordination. And one of the things that we're going to talk about is one of my favorite movements for youth specifically, and for people who are learning to feel their bodies, is the wall ball. So if G throws up the wall ball, just casually, G-Star, and I don't want you to obsess about depth or height of the wall ball, but just get a little closer, a little far away. That's a little aspirational. Go ahead, hit it, right? And then just link a couple of those, G. And pause. Okay, stand back up. So what we tend to look at is, hey, what are squat mechanics? Is she going deep enough? Is she reversing her back? And what the heck is going on? Is she throwing the ball high enough? Instead, what I want you to focus on is a better transfer exercise to all the other skills. One of the things that we're witnessing in the gym is that a lot of our conditioning is wrecking our complex motor skills. Because as soon as we move fast, or under cardiorespiratory demand or metabolic demand, sort of all the things go out the window. And you can move any way you want in those ways and become very fit. The problem is when you're trying to connect the dots later on, we often see that those practice positions and shapes and deviations from good technique, because I'm going fast, end up with performance deficits. So here's what I'm after. Georgia's gonna throw that ball again, but this time, G, I want you to only focus on Georgia's feet. And specifically today, notice that Georgia does a great job of getting her feet straight ahead. She's an athlete. She's working on this position. It's more comfortable if she turns her feet out a little bit, but we're working on getting into a straighter foot position. Go as wide as you want, girl. And then all I want you to do is reference, when we teach this, we're trying to get ball of foot and heel to be balanced and no wobbles. So as Georgia squats down, there should be no change in that orientation and pressure. And you see how she's fighting. She's a little bit on her toes here, shift back a little bit. Now she's balanced, leaving that big toe on the ground. Now stand back up. Okay, now, can you drop down fast, but keep that same organization? Again, balance between ball and foot of heel, and can she drop straight down to that shape? We're trying to get that reference foot position organized and dialed because it allows us to generate the most force up. So when we're trying to push up through the ground, in Olympic lifts, deadlifts, jumping and landing, squatting, the more we can generate force from that full foot, then we're going to have better intramuscular coordination and better force generation. As soon as she comes up onto her big toe, hamstrings start to turn off. As soon as she goes too far on the outside, lifting the big toe up off the ground, she loses her quadriceps. So big toe is on the ground, weighted between ball and foot of heel. Now, all we're gonna do is have her do 5 wall balls. And what I'm looking for is in this chaotic environment where the ball is coming down, can she get back and to that reference foot position? So we know she can do it slow, but see, we're gonna just watch your feet, G. Don't worry about your depth. Don't worry about the height of the ball. Just show me that same foot position. And what should be, it should be completely boring, except we've got this chaotic environment. So that the ball is falling, it's a little bit different time, different tempo, different position, and pause. And in that bottom shape, again, I'm looking for my athletes to be able to have changes in their organization setup. Go ahead and come up, baby. But that ultimately she can come back and fight back to that position. So if she catches on her toes, that because the ball was forward in out of position, she had to come back, get her heels down flat so she could generate force again. So when you're looking at some of these, we'll call them throwaway or traditionally trash conditioning movements, because we're just like, hey, let me get my heart rate up, let me look at my time domain, right? Let me get a burn, right? What we're thinking is, hey, let's put the skill back in there, which is gonna move us from the use of this as just GPP back into sports preparation. The more effectively Georgia can come back to that reference shape, that organization, especially in a chaotic environment, the better able she's gonna be able to handle and generate force when it matters most, which is sport, which is a chaotic environment. Georgia Starrett, we'll see you next time.